CFG's biggest weakness, in my opinion, has been their consistency throughout the season. Their biggest strength, however, has been the teamwork that they have when they are together, especially with this new roster. Following CoinFlip Gaming's roster changes, they looked a lot more organized, taking down one of the top teams in the Helios League, Rex Regalis. I'm excited to see CFG's performance here in playoffs. I would say they're a solid fifth. Welcome back to FOF Esports Helios Quarterfinals, and after RLS take game one of the night, we're diving straight into game number 2. Side selection deems that CFG will be taking the blue side of this game, whereas RLS are on the red side. Will CFG be able to regain their footing and get themselves on the board this series, or will RLS keep the tempo up and take another game off of CFG? Once again, my name is Whirler, and here with me again we have Trulax.
Happy to be back with you, Whirler. After that game we just witnessed, we felt pretty strongly walking into it that RLS had it, and indeed they did. But we're coming up here. CoinFlip Gaming again electing to take the Yuumi.
This is a very prominent pick for CFG so far, as we have seen. The cat is here, and the cat is coming back again. Gonna go in Dust's pocket, the pocket cat, as Ziggs and Leona are being locked in for Restless Leg Syndrome, getting Demon Girl on the Leona again, and Escape. I've seen Escape with this Ziggs before, and it is pretty darn good.
Yeah, Ziggs bot lane is still very strong bot laner. As you see up here, Vayne being picked up on the side of CoinFlip Gaming, which I find to be very interesting. Take that with your second pick.
And as interesting as it is, with MF being taken off the board for Escape, and he's picking up the Ziggs, I'm not too sure how good picking Vayne into Ziggs Leona is. Like, sure, you do have insurance against the Leona having the Vayne, but I think in the general 1v1 in terms of this AD carry matchup, this is just Escape all day.
Yeah, and as you can see right here,
no.
Yeah, the Sedge to the Trundle pick, immediate.
I'm gonna say this right now for any future players of FOF. If you're gonna pick Sejuani, please ban the Trundle.
Yeah, you gotta ban the Trundle, honestly. We've seen it time and time again throughout the season on FOF, on teams I've been on. As soon as the Sejuani is picked up, they just immediately go for the Trundle pick. It's too good of a pick to pick up right after.
Santorin made this mistake in Worlds, and, well, it looks like CFG have made this mistake on FOF. But it is not near over just yet. The game hasn't even started, so we haven't even seen these picks shine just yet. I think with Vayne, that being able to, shred through those resistances with true damage could still be very possible for CoinFlip Gaming as we get into the second phase draft of picks and bans. Irelia instantly off the table. Poor Anti, not able to debut again.
Just never going to get to play his favorite champion.
Not quite. As this is looking pretty much the same as the first game's second round of bans, as Lissandra is going to be taken off the table as well.
Yeah, very similar bans as we saw on the first game. And let's see what we get that picked up here on RLS's side for their top and mid. I'm feeling maybe they run it back with a similar pick, but I'm not quite sure. His set is up. Maybe he does take it.
That could be a possibility. Bans of CFG, by the way, are one of every role so far. So that is actually pretty aesthetic to see. And LeBlanc, that's not a control mage. Pengu Soul's on an assassin. Good lord. So in the first game, a lot of their damage was very physical. In the second game, RLS are drafting a more magic damage oriented comp. That's an interesting take. I sort of like the way I see this one, and giving counterpick to Anti on this one.
Yeah, I agree. I like the more magic and jump in, assassinate style of play. So I'm really interested to see what Pengu Soul does with this LeBlanc here. I think he's going to do well with it.
That's a pretty good pick into the LeBlanc, though. Shuts her down in lane and gives a lot of insurance for team fights as well. Doesn't let LeBlanc really do her job without paying the price for it. Goodness me, we got Route on the Malzahar.
Yeah, that is a great pick into the LeBlanc, honestly. Usually A LeBlanc does not like to go up against the Malzahar with his. He just basically hits his R button, and guess what? You're stuck right where you are.
I really don't like. I honestly, any mid laner, I don't like playing against the Malzahar. I really hate the idea of having to sacrifice 1,300 gold to play against him. So unfortunate. But with that being said, speaking of sacrificing 1,300 gold, you're going to have another reason to, because Mordekaiser's being picked up for CFG. They got a lot of click on you champions. And there it is! Anti is going to be on the set this game.
Yes, and as we've seen throughout the season on FOF, he never has disappointed when he's gotten his set, and set is an amazing play into the Mordekaiser. It is a counter pick, so I'm interested to see how this goes in the top side for you belonging to Museum.
Who do you think is going to be taking this game right here?
I still like the engage and tank ability of Restless Lake Syndrome, but the coin flip gaming, the Vayne pick was just suspect to me. I don't think you needed to pick that up that early, but Sadis is, from what I remember, a solid Vayne player. So I mean, I still think it's gonna be RLS.
I would have to agree with you on that one. I like the way that their draft is centered once again. And with these favorite picks that I like seeing, we got Escape on the Ziggs, we got Anti on the set. It is very, very, very nice to see RLS getting the picks that they desire as we head on to game number 2. And similar to game number 1 with CFG 5-manning into the top side of the jungle, they're going to be 5-manning it up into the bot side of the jungle. And with Demon Girl headed out into the river, let's see exactly where they're going to go with this one. Sadist off to the side, a little bit stray from the pack. They're going to move forward on this one. They don't have too much level 1 sort of like, they don't have a thresh hook or anything like that. They don't have too much level 1 pressure. I think
Yeah. Oh,
I
go
like
ahead, sir.
exactly what they're doing. I think what they're doing with these starts is not invading, but sort of setting up for a counter.
Yeah, I was actually just about to point that out. I don't think they're setting up for their engage, but they're waiting to see if they're going to get invaded themselves. So they're just being prepared for that lower side invade because RLS has done invades multiple times against multiple teams throughout the season. So I think that's just a prep, just making sure that they had their backs covered.
Definitely so. Good on you for picking that one up. I was a little late to the inside joke on that one. But CFG giving themselves a lot of insurance early. They want to make sure that all of their chickens are still in line. With that being said, Route taking a little bit of a stroll around the river, and not getting a little bit of vision onto the pixel brush to spot out Trundle if he heads towards the Such. Anti giving War Leader a little bit of a leash, and we're starting on opposite sides of the jungle this game.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this Yumi Vayne plays out because I still think maybe you wanted more of like a Jinx or an Ashe, something gives you a little bit more auto attack range, maybe a Caitlyn. But I know Sadis likes that Vayne pick, so let's see what he can do with it.
Vayne is a decent champion if you know how to pilot it. Vayne honestly gets a little bit scary post level 3 in lane. So unfortunately for the Vayne, so does Leona. Having a lot of CC with only a cat at your disposal is not going to be good for Sadist, especially not having cleanse in this lane. And with the level 2, the Zenith Blade is going to connect onto Sadist, a stun following with a Ziggs bomb off to the side. Sadist is instantly going to be taken down to half.
Yeah, a very good play by Demon Girls noticing they got level 2 first, just getting that damage in early because they needed to focus down and get as much of Yumi's mana use as possible early game.
And they're getting a good push so far. RLS doing Ziggs things, what Ziggs can do best, getting that early push. And they could potentially be seeing a lot of pressure, or in terms of Leona roams as this game continues on. If Ziggs is able to keep the push, good chain of corruption from Pengu Soul is going to be able to get some more damage onto Route. He's doing pretty well in this lane in terms of HP.
Yeah, he's holding his own, doing well. Wait, we have play up here on the top side.
Shadow Bunny going for the dive on Anti. Anti got to dodge out on the Q from Shadow Bunny, and the face breaker pulling her back in. A is going to give Anti first blood on the signature. Sign it, write it, fold it, and send it. Anti is getting first blood of the game.
Yeah, that was a
We're not done just yet. RLS Demon Girl getting another Zenith Blade on the Zeta. Not going to result in anything, but is going to take Zeta's very low.
Yeah, that top side play early onto that set looked like there might have been a communication miscue on that one because it didn't seem like the Mordekaiser really wanted to commit to that one. And Set was all in, and as soon as he gets hit by that E, she's pulled in, she's done.
Route taking down to 1 HP is going to have the back on this, is going to have the TP in, but the crab down there is going to be contested. Shadow Bunny and War Leader are fighting for each other, and War Leader is going to have to flash out of that one. War Leader did pick up the crab, so that did go over to RLS. Route going to expend the TP for some insurance, but I think the fight is more than over. Flash burn from War Leader.
Yeah, and that's going to be key for him later in the game. He's not... Wait, we got another fight looks like going down here.
No, you're good. Keep it going.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, though, on the top side, he sets bringing that wave down, so he's got that wave clear. He's... Oh, it looks like he's trying to engage, get his free damage in, but he's gone too close.
Yes, indeed. You're good. Keep it moving.
Yeah, I know. So he's sitting up there on his nice little 4 CS lead, but I think that losing that flash early for Trundle is going to be pretty rough for him.
Definitely. The early pressure that Trundle can provide if he's able to flash onto the target after pillaring, so useful. RLS still ahead of the pack on this one, almost up 1,000, getting a first blood onto anti-set. I mean, I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far. And Route getting a little bit of poke done onto Pangusol. Pangusol is doing these trades really well against the Malzahar of all things. Is going to take a little bit of poke back from that, so it's going to be evened out. Bot lane, 32 CS recall. That's going to be, I believe, a tier and half of the book. Half of the Lost Chapter book, specifically. Ignite, not Ignite. There is no Ignite in this mid lane. But the damage being dropped on Pangusol is going to take Route very low. Passive is popped, and the Space Poison is jumped on Pangusol. Going to take him very low, and he's almost going to be able to go down to that one. But a good flash from Anti, chasing after You Belong in a Museum, is almost going to take him out as well. Shadow Bunny's now in the mid lane. There's a lot going on here as Pangusol isn't giving up the pressure just yet. Has War Leader off to the side. Shadow Bunny's going to respect it and walk away, but Route's like, where are you going? I got ulti. That being said, War Leader is going to help Pangusol secure this farm for himself, and he's going to take it home.
Yeah, I really like the play by Anti. He judged that he might have enough damage to get off that, and I like the aggressiveness to force You Belong to Museum out of lane with that Flash W.
Definitely flash for flash trade, so it's not like Anti did it for nothing. With that being said, both of them still have TP up, has yet to expend the TP out of You Belong in a Museum. If he's able to get that TP advantage, RLS and this top lane are going to be sitting prettier than ever. It's going to be a little harder, though, but with Anti level up for a little bit, it's looking very good for him in the 1v1.
Yeah, and you're looking at it now, the CS in the jungle is becoming more and more even because War Leader did have a 10 CS lead on Shadow Bunny, and Shadow Bunny has been able to close that gap.
Definitely so. But speaking of CS, Route and Pangusol here in this mid lane. Pangusol hasn't been finding himself a lot of gold. He hasn't really been finding himself a lot of kills either. Just a lot of damage on Route. Is 15 CS behind. And honestly, I've seen that snowball into greater when you're playing LeBlanc. It's so easy to ignore CSing on that champion. You got to pay attention to what you're CSing with on that champion. Because if you don't have your items, and if you're not getting kills to secure those items, LeBlanc's not going to be doing too much as the mid game rolls around.
Yeah, and you got to realize you got to focus your farm a little bit more than you're focusing your poke because you're going up against a Malzahar who basically is free farming in lane right now.
More than basically, as we got a little bit going on here in the top lane. Anti is taking a lot of poke from You Belong in the Museum, and I'm just loving it from him because he does not care. Sada is going for 2 auto attacks on Demon Girl, but Demon Girl saying that is not allowed. Shadow Bunny coming into the fray, though, going to take Demon Girl very low, force the flash out of that one. RLS does have a little bit of oomage going on, and Demon Girl's walking back up. Shadow Bunny's going to pick that kill up a little too far as War Leader's coming into the fight. Shadow Bunny Ian on to Escape. Escape going to flash out of that one. Is he going to go down before War Leader can get into the fight in time? The tower is going to be able to take him out. Trundle is going to pick that up, and Sade is taking the tower damage. Dust is alone. Dust is being followed. Pangusol with the W over the wall to follow Dust out of there. Exhaust being expended onto Pangusol is going to be enough to ward him away, but that's going to be 2 kills traded over to the side of RLS for Demon Girl and Escape's life.
Yeah, and you saw that clutch ult come out of Shadow Bunny. I think if he doesn't get that ult off before he dies, I do think that is a dead cat.
Oh, and speaking of which, forcing the flash out of Route as War Leader is just training it into every lane on the tracks. Chugga chugga choo choo. The Trundle's coming up to the Rift Herald, and we got a Rift Herald fight after that bot lane experience. And Pangusol, Route was just looking for the tower to aggro on him so he could press R. Actually, no, Route's R is down. Scratch that. That never happened. With that being said, we went all the way from bot to top lane for a Rift Herald fight. With that being said, they're continuing it, and it looks like RLS is just going to give it up.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna end up giving it up, and they're gonna just let it go over to CFG because they don't have the cooldowns, they don't have the pressure, and they're just like, all right, well, we don't have it, so we're just gonna let them have it, and that's okay. That's a trade they're willing to take. Maybe they're gonna try to force something near the Dragon Pit in 2 minutes.
It's expending the cat being in the top lane, though, so that does mean Sadist is alone in this bot lane with no flash, no heal. This is a playground for Demon Girl and Escape if they are able to dive Sadist under tower. All Sadist has to live is invisibility. That's literally it. If Demon Girl lands any form of CC, Sadist is done for.
Yes, I think they need. Oh, looks like we might have something. No, I do think they need to immediately go for that after they realize that. After they realized that the Yuumi was topside, I think they should have forced something on the bot side. Because as you said, he only has his invis off of his Q, and that's all he can do. And if you get that ult into your Q with Leona, it's pretty much a done deal if you can get Sadist.
And it's a little too late. Shadow Bunny was there to spoil the surprise. Yuumi is about 15 seconds from coming back to lane, but Sadist is going to take a recall to ensure that he will stay alive during all of this. Escape and Demon Girl getting a good push. Ooh, very good on both sides. Shadow Bunny getting a smooth ultimate out, but Pangusol's got a smoother flash.
Yeah, that was a really good. That's a really good trade. I'd take that any day. Getting a flash out of the enemy mid laner for my ult. I'm taking that trade 12 ways to Sunday.
And speaking of which, getting a Chain of Corruption onto Route is going to change, or is going to respond to that with the ultimate. Malzahar R was not enough to take them out. They actually went even on HP in that ultimate trade, and that's going to force both of them back. Route still has TP, and so does Pangusol, so they both might be expending it as the 2v2 is back in bot lane.
Yeah, and here we go again, just trading back and forth, just trading barbs, and here we are back to Anti, who he just does not respect this Mordekaiser. He's just running up on him, doing what he wants, getting his farm, and You Belong in the Museum is just trying to play catch up right here in this top side because Anti's just got him on that CS lead and is continuing to build.
Ocean Dragon coming up in 20 seconds. Both junglers are playing the side of the bot lane here, seeing if they can make something happen for their team to try to get this Ocean Dragon on the board. It's going to be Cloud or Infernal for Souls. And while that's all happening, we got a little bit of skirmish here in the top lane, and this might end very poorly, as it is going to be with the showstopper. Anti is going to pick up You Belong in a Museum. And with that being said, that's going to be the prelude for the Ocean Dragon spawning in. Nothing has happened yet in this bot lane. Anti picking up another solo kill for himself. But with Route coming down and Trundle starting the Dragon on his own, what will we see from this?
Yeah, and on that play, I wonder if they had Anti's teleport timed because he did not have teleport and Mordekaiser did. He could have played the odds there and keeping himself alive and TP to the dragon fight that we knew was coming up for the 4v5.
Shadow Bunny going to drop the Rift Herald in the mid lane. Shelly making an appearance for game number 2. Going to take some mid tower platings. And Pangusol and War Leader here to respond with it. No dragon attempts just yet. Mordekaiser still has TP. Anti does not. The timers are still in the favor of CFG in terms of a 5v4. Malzahar does have the ultimate. Pangusol did W forward just now, and with the Sejuani ult, I think that was a little too much layering of the CC. He's gonna go down, and that's gonna be a 5v3 at this point.
Yeah, knowing everyone's there, I don't know if that was worth for him, knowing that the CC is still there, the CC chain to keep you locked in even if you come forward and you can't just get back out. So I think that was a bit aggressive out of Pangusol right there.
Definitely so, as the Ocean Dragon was picked up for CFG, and with how beefy their team is, I think Ocean Dragon is very good for them. We have an Infernal Soul, and either of these teams getting that spells disaster for the other.
Yeah, I like the Infernal Soul. Last game we got... Oh, it looks like we got a fight going on here.
Ooh, I think you know where this one's coming. When you see a Leona land a stun, you don't like what comes right afterwards, and with no... ultimate from the Malzahar up just yet, I think the deal is sealed for him, and he's going to go down to the 2v1.
I would agree with you on that one, and I think, a lot of this game is going to depend on how well Demon Girl continues to land her CC.
And more or less with Malzahar off of the map, it gives LeBlanc a little bit of catch-up time. Still down only 15 CS, which the longer the game goes, the less that starts to matter. As long as it stays 15, it has for the longest. So LeBlanc's not too behind in gold, has a kill up. We're still good on that. Malzahar has his first item completed. The Leandries, a lot of damage off the table. And LeBlanc still has not completed the Luden's Echo yet, despite finishing boots. And I've seen this before. We're seeing it again. Rout's taking this in the mid lane once more. The CC from Demon Girl, bringing it up to the mid lane, showing Rout who the CC chainer is in this game. And they're going to take another kill over there.
As you said, the sequel, Route in mid lane with Demon Girl. This time it's serious.
And with that being said, Condemn hitting the wall. Demon Girl is going to take the L for that one. Shadow Bunny's ult is going to go a little wide. Is going to be taken very low. The TP coming in. And that's going to be Anti in the fray. They did get Demon Girl, but this looks like Anti's coming in for some more. He's taken very low. The face spray or the haymaker coming out. It's not going to matter. Shadow Bunny's going to pick up Anti despite all the efforts. Sade is taken very low from the 6 bomb, but one more auto attack is not enough because Anti's going to trade a kill for that one. Shadow Bunny going to pick it up. And that is a 3 for 1 so far. Pangusol off to the side, make it a 2 for 3 with CFG picking up the 3.
Man, this is a bloodier game than we saw last game, I feel. I feel like there was not this much action early on, but we got another one.
Definitely, we do have another one as RLS War Leader is going to have to flash out of that one. Wasn't in too much danger, aside from perhaps you belonging to Museum using the ultimate. Did flash away just for some insurance. Rift Herald is coming up for the second time this game. Honestly, I think this one's a little more valuable than it would be as in last game where it came up at 17 minutes. You're not going to get any platings, but you definitely need to open up the map for some team. One of these teams needs to start opening up the map for this one. We are still towerless.
Yeah, and we saw in that fight earlier, Sade is doing a great job kiting around the damage, getting around the set, putting it down to get those procs to get him low, and actually secure those kills in that first fight down bot side that then went up into the bot side jungle of CFG.
And let's take a look at the kills real quick, or not really the kills, but more or less the items. Shadow Bunny has been getting a lot of gold this game, and speaking of which, War Leader is getting the subjugate on Shadow Bunny, going to take a lot of those resistances away from Shadow Bunny, and just like that, becomes as squishy as paper. I was just going to talk about it, but we had a very good demonstration of exactly what I was talking about. And speaking of which, Sade is going to get another kill on the Demon Girl, and with the stun coming up, or the suppress rather, from Rout, War Leader is going to follow. Whew, we got ourselves a fight going on here. But with that being said, the more tanky stats that Shadow Bunny is able to build, the more War Leader is able to steal. With that being said, War Leader dropping, or not War Leader, RLS dropping 2 kills.
Yeah, and you look at Sadis here continuing to shine on this main. It was a suspect pick for me, and watching him play so far with the Yuumi speed up and his ability to go invisible and continue to kite around his opponents, I think he's executing this Vayne pick really well, and I am a little bit surprised.
I would have to agree with you on that. Still pretty even in terms of gold between both bot laners. In terms of the Sejuani, giving over kills to Trundle Subjugate. Both ultimates from the junglers coming up in about 15 seconds apiece. Dragon coming up in about 10. Demon Girl getting good vision control. And they're popping the Rift Herald into the mid lane to get some pressure for this first Infernal Dragon that has spawned. They don't have War Leader for the Sejuani yet, but it doesn't matter. Sejuani is taking that half on just the combos alone. And the Rift Herald is going to be able to open up the map for both sides, for both mid lanes. First tower has gone off. War Leader going to start up the Infernal Dragon, and Anti is off to the side, getting some insurance. Going to jump back over with the Blast Cone, and this could be a fight for the ages, as we got CFG coming down for the fight. You Belong to the Museum does have the ultimate. RLS is going to be looking to get this one, but blue team is going to be able to smite that one over. War Leader going to go down, going to get ulted by You Belong in the Museum, and they are just falling like flies. Shadow Bunny and You Belong in the Museum are running a train on RLS, and that's going to be a triple kill going to You Belong in the Museum with an Infernal Drake in their pocket.
Yeah, that was very well executed by Coin Flip Gaming right there. Forcing that dragon fight was exactly what they needed, going right onto War Leader immediately with the Vayne and just focusing him down so that they can take away that smite so they can secure the objective for themselves.
And good lord, we have ourselves a game, ladies and gentlemen. CFG have regained their footing, and they have an edge in this game. They're up 1,000 gold, which isn't much, all things considered. But having that Infernal Dragon and seeing how they're playing these fights, I like what I'm seeing from CFG.
I would agree with you. I think this was their, in terms of comps, I think their comp had a higher uh, need for execution and a higher difficulty of execution, but they've actually shown us they're executing it quite well, and RLS is on the back foot right now.
And just like I was talking about before, the QSS tax has been paid from both Mordekaiser and Malzahar this game. I really hate this champion in the lane because why? The idea of having to waste 1,300 gold as an AP champion on an item that you can't really turn into anything just so you can play the game feels so bad for Pangu Soul, but he paid the tax and he's able to play the game once again.
Yeah, and when it comes to the Malzahar picks, there are many players inside the FOF scene who do play the Malzahar pick, and your girl Nico is a firm supporter of the Malzahar in the mid lane. So there is definitely some proponents in the FOF for the Malzahar for sure. But I do agree with you. I don't like the tax I have to pay when I go against it.
Like, I don't mind when I'm playing AD carry or an AD champion and I have to build the item because, it at least it builds into relevant stats for me. But when you're a mage or an assassin or a mage assassin such as LeBlanc, it feels so bad that that item is just there.
It legit is just that feels bad, man. Because you're just like, all right, well, and so this is just taking up an item slot.
For no reason. I 100% agree with that. Hopefully, they are able to make do with what they got. Anti, not allowed to back. Route is doing a very good job at bullying him, but a flash face breaker, ulti into the turret, Shadow Bunny off with the CC on the Anti, but the tower damage is going to take Route out. Sadist picking up a lot of damage and going to scoop up Anti while he's at it. Demon Girl getting the Zenith Blade, going to jump on in on that one, but it's not exactly what she wanted. Vayne going in for the double kill on that one. CFG coming out on top, 2-for-1 in that trade. And here in the bot lane, Peng Soul, you belong in the museum, coming in hot with more, and Sadist is going to be able to pick up this tower. Escape is caught out a little bit, condemn into the wall. That's a lot of damage. He's going to flash on out of that one. War Leader getting Sadist very low, but he's going to have to flash away from Sadist as well. Escape does not have the ultimate, but Sadist is taken super low from the Ziggs bombs. Yumi healing her up. We got a close one here as Pangu Soul still up in this bot lane with you belonging to museum. We're back to a neutral over here, but a very good fight and a tower going over to CFG.
Yeah, and you see again, just Sadist being able to kite around the damage while the Sejuani takes the turret. He's able to just continue to free auto attack champions and get all that damage in with those with that huge item spike he's got over there. Like look at he's got the Phantom Dancer and the Mortal Shield Bow. It's just a huge spike, or is that a Kraken Slayer? Either way, very big power spikes for Vayne over there, just being able to put all that free damage down.
I do believe that is Immortal Shield Bow, considering it is on cooldown. The only other one that has a cooldown is Gale Force for the 3 ADC Mythics. With that being said, Immortal Shield Bow for the Vayne is actually going to be really good this game, considering the amount of damage that they have coming out from the LeBlanc. Any burst damage that they have, sort of with Escape as well, sort of helps Sadist stay alive in these team fights. And you already have your W true damage. So yes, the Kraken would be a little nice to have, especially against Set and Trundle. You don't need it as much as you need to stay alive in these fights. And speaking of which, Sadist chasing out Anti taking a little more off than he could have chewed, and Sadist on a killing spree.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there. Maybe just overextended without wards, but that was definitely a rough play for him over there. Just running it down, trying to get the execute without dying, giving over a kill.
Almost got it too, and with RLS playing the bot side, they see that one and they're going straight for the Baron. CFG taking it to about half, and with not one RLS member in sight, I think that Baron is uncontestedly theirs. They're going to trade off with a bottom tier 2. They're going to be able to get it. They're not going to be able to get much more with that. Route in the top lane's trying to even it up. Shadow Bunny assessing that, going to meet him up there. They're going to try to even up the towers for that one, so that RLS does not get ahead or even it up in any way, shape, or form. Anti coming back up we have a macro situation, ladies and gentlemen, and Baron has gone to CFG.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure why force the bottom tier turret when you could have gone for the dragon. I'm not sure if the timer was a problem, but I think the dragon would have been a better trade for them.
Oh, you got one QSS, but you don't got two. This Sejuani ulti gonna stun up Anti. Thankfully, his Merc treads it made do for him there. He's gonna be taken very low, gonna have to walk out of that one with the tail between his legs. Mordekaiser TPing into the top lane is gonna be able to base race this one. They're picking up an Infernal Dragon for themselves to even up the dragons. However, CFG have picked up a turret for themselves up in this top lane. Demon Girl 1v7 up in this top lane is gonna go down to Sadis, and the shutdown for Pangu Soul as he catches Mordekaiser in the wrong neighborhood.
Yeah, that was an interesting play. It looked like Demon Girl really wanted to get that Malzahar, but just, Leona is a good at one thing and being a tank, and damage is not the other thing.
And with that being traded off, the Infernal Dragons are even in terms of both sides. RLS and CFG are really at each other's necks in terms of these objectives. But CFG are getting a lot of towers for themselves, whereas whereas RLS got themselves an Infernal. They lost the Baron, but they were able to start opening up bot lane a little bit. The macro is a little questionable coming from both teams, but I would say CFG is coming out on top of this a little bit. 3,000 gold ahead. They have a Vayne carry building up over here. Almost has the wit's end. That's huge as soon as she's able to pick that one up.
Yeah, Sadist, again, really executing well on this Vayne. You have a very bloody, I would say, objective plays from both teams. Very, not sloppy, but just like chaotic a little bit, as we have another here right here, condemned to the wall.
Speaking of chaotic, just walk up to the assassin and just condemn her right to her face. Pangu Soul is going to have to go down on that one. Sadist really just taking the game into his own hands, not even caring about what's on his screen right now. Anti is being shredded so low. Sadist taking a full haymaker to the face is going to keep it going as RLS is dropping like flies. Sadist picking him up with his hand. He's got the aim, and he's catching them out. RLS down 4 players. They're pushing it into the base. War Leader was off in Egypt taking a vacation while all that was happening. He's running up, and he's going to have to, kind of defend versus 5. I think RLS are going to lose this game off this push.
Yeah, it feels like it's a win push right here. That fight went exactly how CFG needed it to go, and it does look like they're trying to end the game here.
They could get to it if they start hitting the tower. Shadow Bunny buying them some time so that Pangu Soul doesn't immediately get onto the carries. They're going to look to call it off there as they have not had enough time to sort of get it. Sadist going to be taken quite low off of the Zigzag, but a Yuumi heal plus Summoner heal will keep Sadist above half, walking through the tower. They're going to take 2 Nexus towers, and they're going to call it a push there. Both Dragon and Baron coming up in 2 minutes. Let's see how CFG can look to close this one out.
Yeah, and now you got to think where they got to put the pressure next. So they're just going to let super minions push the bot side, maybe do a 4-1 from the mid to the top side, and put that Mordekaiser on the top side, put everyone else in the mid lane. I feel like that might be the play here, and then just reset for those next objectives coming up. And probably going to take, I would say they probably want the top side prio so they can get that Baron buff.
But a 2.5 item at the time Vayne doing that much damage by herself in a team fight, that is the most scariest thing I've seen. Sadist proven his worth here in this series playoffs. Good Lord, CFG came to play in game 2.
Yeah, and it's just like we discussed in the draft when we were saying the Vayne pick was suspect, but if you can pull it off, its hyper carry potential toward the mid to late game is very scary, and Sadist is just displaying that with pure form in this game.
As Anti's getting pulled in, you don't want to see that. As Sadist gets the 1-2-3, taking Anti to 1 HP. And they're pushing up top lane looking to get this second inhib for themselves as the Nexus is open as well. They're just looking for every which way to get into this base. And they're going to make it happen as this inhib is uncontestably theirs. RLS can't do anything about this one. You Belong in a Museum's going to walk it out. Solar Flare going to miss Sadist barely. They're starting it out. You Belong in a Museum is going to be taken very low. It's going to take Demon Girl to the Shadow Realm, leaving them alone over there. But Shadow Bunny taken very low, going to get subjugated, squishy as all heck. Sadist going to have to flash out of Anti's range. Anti going to be picking up route and dropping him off to the corner. War Leader going to flash or gonna not flash but jump on Sadis is gonna lose the trade off that one. Sadis 1v1 in the jungler, as well as Anti dropping in the top lane. They're going to try to push this into the base. They are a little low. That is the LeBlanc. They should respect that. Malzahar with the TP is going to try to get back in. Same with You Belong in a Museum. And with LeBlanc going down, that's going to secure it. CFG are going to take game number 2.
Yeah, that was just a stomp from CFG over to RLS, showing that the Yuumi Vayne plays. The Yuumi plays bot side. Let's go on and let's even up the series.
Woo, 1-1 so far. We have a series guaranteed. Game 4 could be a game 5. I love to see those. We don't know just yet. This can go either way after what the heck I just saw. You see, RLS displayed a dominating performance here in the first game, but after the mid game of this game specifically, CFG really have it, and this has become oh so close.
Yes, and just give me that game 5, just like Giants Dodgers and the NLDS. I want that game 5 because you get to see just the great plays and haymakers come out once game 5 shows up. Excuse me.
Speaking of haymakers, let's see how much more Anti can get his set in this series. See if RLS can pick it back up and start to take their reign in this series, or if CFG are keeping the pressure on and they're going to take this series for themselves. Who knows exactly where that's going to go, but we will see you in a few. Don't go anywhere.
I'ma have to bust it. I'ma have to bust it. Bust it. I'ma have to 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 bust it.
チュンチュン丸です。アンブー。